I think we can get started. Welcome everyone to this Gasgrid Finland's hydrogen market consultation. I want to remind you all that this event is recorded and we will share this recording later on our websites, so you're able to access it after the event. My name is Venla Partanen. I work as a development manager in our hydrogen development team, and I will be presenting the purpose of this market consultation and a bit that what kind of information we are going to collect and how are we going to handle that information. But first, I think we can start from the infrastructure projects that we are running at the moment, and you are welcome to ask questions when they rise during this presentation, and we can handle those in the Q&A session that we are planned to have at the end of this presentation. But please, Sarah, go.
Good afternoon, everyone, also from my behalf. Nice to see so many of you in this meeting. Today, a little bit about our agenda, first about our background and who we are from Gasgrid side, and a little bit or briefly about our infrastructure project. And then we will go into the purpose of the hydrogen market consultation and the timeline for these consultations in the future, and finally informing about the results as Venla mentioned. My name is Sara Kärki. I'm Senior Vice President at Gasgrid Finland. I'm also working as Chief Operating Officer in Gasgrid Vetyverkot, which is our daughter company for hydrogen grid development. And Venla, please, if we go to the next slide, I can briefly discuss more about who we are. So Gasgrid Finland, we are a Finnish state-owned company and a transmission system operator with system responsibility. Our main task is that we offer our customers safe, reliable and cost-efficient transmission of gases. And in addition, we actively develop our transmission platform services and the gas markets in a customer-oriented manner to promote the carbon-neutral energy and raw material system of the future. And that's why we're also here today. And another thing that Gasgrid Finland has been tasked by the Finnish government is to develop national hydrogen infrastructure, international cooperation hydrogen market around the Baltic Sea region as soon as possible. And that's why we have established the Gasgrid Vetyverkot daughter company. In order to support this development, we are launching today this non-binding market consultation for industrial actors to indicate their interest to connect to future hydrogen network in Finland. Then we can go to the next slide, please. Just really briefly about the background related to hydrogen market development in the Baltic Sea region and Finland. Finland and the Nordic countries have a great opportunity to be the forerunners in hydrogen and power-to-X development due to the highly abundant and cost-competitive renewable energy sources that we have. And how the hydrogen infrastructure is related to this is that it can support market development by providing connection between supply and demand, create access to storage also outside of the borders of Finland, provide efficient transport of energy, and provide business opportunities by enabling creation of a wider market. In addition, the hydrogen infrastructure itself can provide flexibility to the market by acting as a buffering storage. In addition to the above-mentioned items, hydrogen infrastructure in the Baltic Sea region can also support our national and European energy independence, security of supply, and achievement of climate targets. Then about our hydrogen projects that Gasgrid Finland is involved in. We started a year ago Nordic Hydrogen Route Botnia Bay project, which is located in the Botnia Bay region. It's a cooperation project by Gasgrid Finland and Nordion Energy. And we are aiming to accelerate the creation of a hydrogen economy by building a cross-border hydrogen infrastructure in this region and an open market already by 2030. In addition to this project, we have started 2 other projects. The first one, called Nordic-Baltic Hydrogen Corridor project, is involving the southern part of the national hydrogen infrastructure plans, and it's a cooperation project to develop hydrogen infrastructure from Finland through Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland to Germany to meet the REPower EU 2030 targets. There we are working together with our Baltic TSO colleagues, transmission system operator colleagues, Polish transmission system operators colleagues from gas system, and also from Germany from ONTRAS. And for this project also we are aiming for 2030. Finally, the Baltic Sea Hydrogen Collector project is formed also together with Nordion Energy, but we have in addition to that 2 industrial partners, OX2 and Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, involved in this project development. And we are investigating the possibility to develop a new large-scale offshore hydrogen pipeline infrastructure connecting Finland, Sweden, and Central Europe already by 2030 to provide clean, sustainable hydrogen for Europe. And the Baltic Sea Hydrogen Collector project is aiming really to deploy renewable energy production offshore in this Baltic Sea region and use this also for hydrogen production. And the infrastructure plays, of course, a very crucial role in achievement of this. Then I will pass over to Venla, who can then share more details about our market consultation process.
Yes. So now we will talk about the hydrogen market consultation and the purpose of it. So we are launching this consultation to be able to evaluate the development of the industrial hydrogen projects that are ongoing or in the planning phases. And we also try to scan the interest of the industrial companies to be connected to this future hydrogen infrastructure that Sara was showing, and then also strengthen the interest to develop the hydrogen infrastructure here in Finland. And we are running this as an open form, so all industrial companies and the project developers are welcome to take part to this survey. And as said, it's carried out as a survey, and during this consultation process, we are asking the companies to share information about the ongoing and the planned activities and indicate the location of this potential hydrogen project that they are running, and also indicate the possible connection point that they would be like to have in their project, and then also scanning the need of the hydrogen transfer in the system, but also the storage possibilities, that if the projects are having their own storage or are looking this hydrogen network to be acting as one. And then also scan the development schedules of these projects. And based on these answers, we aim to develop our hydrogen infrastructure so that we are able to meet the needs that the industry partners have. And timeline for this, now we are in this non-binding phase. So we are investigating the signals from the market and identifying the positive investment signals that the companies are maybe having. So we have now, based on the proposition of the infrastructure as shown in the map in the previous slides, and now we are collecting more information from the developers and the industry parties. And then we are aiming to have the feasibility studies and a more detailed engineering of this infrastructure, and this is going to be happening between a couple of years from now. And then we are entering into this binding phase and really looking at the contracts and the final signals from the market that are they having the investments. But as said, we are aiming to have this infrastructure in place by 2030. And regarding this consultation, we are now in this launch webinar, and we are also publishing this consultation survey. And then this consultation is open until the end of August. And then we are going to review and do the compilation of the results. And now about the data handling principles that we are having. So we want to ensure that the confidential data is not going away from our hands. And as said, this consultation is set up in a form that we collect the information non-discriminatory way and open. This is open to all. And data contained in this survey submissions we will treat confidentially only within Gasgrid. And also any personal data that we are collecting and processing within this consultation, we are using the data protection legislation and using our privacy policy. And use of the results, this initiative is developed to validate the Finnish hydrogen infrastructure needs and support the planning of the hydrogen infrastructure. And for that purpose, we need to share some of the data that we are gathering now, but that is done in an anonymized and aggregated way. So we are not telling any company details or market information when we are showing the results to the third parties. And once we have been analyzing the results, we are going to publish a summary of this, making sure that any data is handled confidentially and anonymity is ensured. And these findings will be published on our websites, so that can be found from there. Then I think we are in a Q&A session, so please ask any questions, and then we are more than welcome to discuss any topics that we have been now presenting.
So this is a very short summary of what's going to happen in the next month, and you will receive an email after this event with the link to the survey, and we really encourage you to fill it in, take part, give your input and feedback. Also, if you have any challenges with filling the survey, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are more than happy to help with any issues that may arise.
Yeah, my details are in this slide and also in the email that you are getting after this webinar. So you can ask questions from me if you have any struggles with the survey. It seems that we are not having any questions in the chat, but if you want to ask, you can just raise your hand and we can give you the opportunity to ask questions.
I will raise a question just to get the conversation going, hopefully. Venla, if I have issues with the filling of the some parts of the information in the survey, what should I do if I don't know yet the answers that we are asking from Gasgrid side?
Well, there are the mandatory points where you have to fill in something, but of course, if you are not having that answer yet, you can just fill in there that I don't know this yet. And of course, there are the sections where you can fill in the information that you want to share with us. So there are the other information sections where you can put everything that is in your mind that you want to share with us. And of course, if you don't have the possibility to fill that information in the survey, you can always send me an email or call, and then we can handle those separately.
We got a question in the chat that are we mapping both supply and demand?
Yes, so we are having both. And actually, if you are looking both the supply and the demand in one project, you are also able to indicate that. And we are collecting the information that you would like, what volumes you would like to feed into our system or take out from the system. So the connection from the project to the hydrogen infrastructure is what we are looking at.
And we are also asking you that if you have transportation needs for hydrogen or transmission need for hydrogen without outside the borders of Finland, please indicate that to us as well, because this information will feed into the development of the large infrastructure projects that we are collaborating with the other countries' TSOs, so gas transmission system operators. So it's possible to indicate that would you be exporting or importing or doing both also in this survey. And that would be also very valuable information for us.
And actually there is also a possibility that you are not having supply or the demand, but you are requiring the storage, and you are also able to indicate that to us.
Then we have another question in the chat that can the survey be forwarded to a third party that might be interested in the participating to the survey? And yes, we will publish also the link on our webpage so you can access. It's accessible by everyone, and you can of course forward also the email with the link if you have a specific person in mind.
Indeed.
One more question. What will be covered under the feasibility study, only the pipe in Finland or all the other projects to connect Western Europe? The question relates probably to the large-scale infrastructure projects, if I interpret it correctly. So what we are currently doing now in the Nordic Hydrogen Route project is that we have the Botnia Bay region pre-feasibility study ongoing, and we are also advancing in the other projects towards pre-feasibility, and it will include all of these three projects connecting the Baltic Sea region. Then we are of course aware that there are a lot of other projects being developed by other gas transmission system operators with the same timeline, for example, in Poland and Germany. So quite a broad infrastructure currently being developed. You can also come back with questions once you have the, okay, now we have one more question. It's clear that the market consultation is related to hydrogen production and transportation, but is there any possible CCSU project? The main interest, of course, from our hydrogen infrastructure project development perspective or hydrogen infrastructure development perspective is that we try to understand what would be the possible connection points from any projects. But that said, if you have any questions or needs related to transportation of CO2, for example, you can also indicate that to us, or you can indicate any power to X projects in the survey, at least in the free form.
And actually there is the hydrogen origin question, and there we have this blue hydrogen included. So if you want to indicate that your project is having this blue hydrogen, then you can also indicate that in the survey.
But also the bio CO2, of course, is relevant in this context. The feasibility study related to the large infrastructure project is that the timeline for those, there was a question about this. We are currently working on those and hoping to be quite advanced by the end of this year, but at least for the Nordic hydrogen route project, and then trying to push also for the other projects as well.
But that's why we are launching this consultation at this point, because all of these three are in the pre-feasibility study phase. So there is a lot of room to still look at the routing and the sizing of the pipeline. So that's why we are trying to get the information also from the industry parties and the project developers.
And one important thing to add is that if your project is not close to our envisioned or planned hydrogen infrastructure, you can still indicate that to us if you have or you would wish it to be connected with hydrogen infrastructure, because we have also received those questions in advance. And of course, we try to understand that which other regions could be relevant for hydrogen infrastructure development. So the borders within Finland are just the limit.
Yeah, and then we have these import and export questions where you can go even further.
Indeed.
But as Sarah was starting, you can always ask questions also after this webinar. We are more than welcome to help you.
If there isn't any more questions, thank you so much for your time and your attention for joining this launch webinar, and we will be in touch with you with an email, and please feel free, like mentioned, sharing this forward to anyone who would be interested in participating to the survey market consultation. We really look forward for your input, and it's very valuable for us.
Thank you also from my side.
Thank you, everyone.